Hey guys, happy Halloween. I want to come to you tonight with a video, kind of a live video, if you will, as quick as I can make it live, semi-live I guess you could call it, right? One of the nights I always try to, days I try to hunt, not the whole day in the same spot obviously, but a day that I like to hunt, Halloween, right? No matter where you're at in the country, October 31st is a pretty good day to be in the woods, and it's got some, I don't know, sentimental bow hunting tradition maybe attached to it, right? What we're going to talk about tonight, guys, is the strategy that we got. You can hear how windy it is. I want to bring this one to you because it opens some eyes that I've had some questions pertaining to some wind and some thermals. And I got a video here that we're going to do kind of a deeper dive into that, more of a direct video instead of just a specific spot hunt, if you will. So tonight, guys, I'm sitting in a spot. It's a south-southwest wind, and I'm sitting on a spot of the farm that I designed, actually implemented for this year for a buck that's been here on the farm since day one. We call him Cheeks. He had a big growth on the side of his right cheek. I don't know what kind of growth it was, abscess or something. The first 2 years. It kind of kept getting smaller and smaller, and then it went away. Last year, you could just see the scar. And to be honest with you, if I didn't know it was that deer, you wouldn't see the growth at all this year. Just a big body, grade buck, 5.5-year-old buck. He's not going to break any scoring records. He's not a high scoring deer. Probably 130-inch 10-point. Just one of those deals. I don't know. I'm just into the, targeting the oldest buck in the neighborhood. And I've got a lot of history with him. And this spot right here was built for him, so I just decided that tonight's the night to hunt here for him. One of the reasons is he was actually here this morning at like 3 o'clock on the food plot. There's a feeder, guys, I'm going to show you here. There's a feeder about 100 yards from me down here on the end of the food plot. So I've designed this. I'm going to show you what this is. So I'm sitting in this shot plot here, right here, guys. What I did is I've got screening, John Comp's HD screening, 2/10 of a clover and chicory, but the chicory is really struggling. It's pretty much all clover right now. Actually interseeded it with more clover and rye because of the drought. My screening here is real weak because I hit it with some overspray and of the glyphosate anyway. So I've got shot plot, screening, food plot. The shot plot is in the center of this, and as you can tell, I'm up here on the ridge. So this is John's HD screening, Northwoods Whitetails HD screening that goes down and around, kind of horseshoes this in, if you will. I've got 20 foot of it. This is actually my tractor trailer right behind me. So what I do, guys, in the evening, I come up, so I've got 20 foot of screening on both sides of this. You can see how thick it is. I come up the tractor trail because there's nothing in the food plot. So I get in the back side of the blind, take 2 steps out after the hunt. This deer can be in these food plots and don't even know I'm here because I'm not on the food plot. I'm actually on the shot plot, so they bypass where I'm at. And I get right out the back door here, walk right down that mowed trail on the back side of switch. So I've got screening, switch, and then the edge of the woods. And then I walk down the edge of the woods. The edge of the brush, I guess I should say. The woods doesn't start right there, but edge of the brush. Then walk down. So I can walk down past this whole food plot, and that feeder that's on the end, there's another shot plot on the other end of it. So it's shot plot, screening, food plot, screening, food, or shot plot, screening, food plot, all the way down through here. But to finish that, I can walk all the way down here, guys, and get gone, and they have no idea that I'm even in. So I'll show you what, hopefully you can see this through the windows, guys. It's higher wind tonight, and I thought I seen something moving there. A higher wind and a perfect night. You know that I'm not the guy that's going to do an interview in the box blind or from the tree a lot. If I get into a stand, I crawl right up there and I'm in. I don't recommend doing a lot of talking, but 15-mile-an-hour winds tonight, going to die down right before dark. Possibility of some rain. Good night. So that's what it looks like, guys. Like I said, I hope that you can see that through the windows here. So what where I want to share this, guys, is I'm up here. This is kind of a plateau, if you will. It's a ridge that I kept only food on one side so I can access the other side, and it's interior access on the farm here, ridge country, right? Now, a lot of folks would have planted this whole thing, and then you couldn't get in or out, but I only put the food on this side and screening and switchgrass on that side so I can walk through. So I've got AM stands off that side of the ridge and AM stands past the food plot here on this side. So I'll show you an aerial of this, guys. It's just a handy little deal. So I've got a stand down in the bottom. It's at the head of a draw down there. My thermal, and so I can hunt at AM and PM because my thermals climb up the other bank, and in the PM they fall from here. So it's just one of those spots, guys. I've got 2 of them on the farm. I'm just blessed to have them. But in the PM on it, so I have to hunt that PM, AM or PM north wind, and I never had a way until I got this doe bedding created this year, and I got this shot plot and food plot and all this screening in this year. I never had a way to hunt this right here in a south wind. That was in the plan, but I just didn't have it done until this year. And the reason for that, guys, is I can't get down because all of this falls from the food plot that way. It's not steep, it just gradually falls to the bottom where that water hole stand is. And what happens is if I try to walk from the house in, all this doe bedding is up here above me now. And I left a little more cedar than I normally would, so it helps with the visibility of me getting past, but I'm not going to walk on that fence line down through there because the neighbor's bedding, my bedding, it'd be hard to get in without getting busted. I could probably do it on a high wind day like today, but it's got to be a north wind. So this is the time that I want to hunt this perfect spot or perfect situation. Higher winds, so the screening's up here, make a little noise, get in undetected. And what it is, guys, is you always hear, right? You always hear me talk about being behind the does. You're probably asking yourself, why are you out on the shot plot during the pre-rut? And you're always telling us to hunt behind the does. Well, behind the does in the morning is because those bucks, when they're cruising, they're going to scent check first. They're going to scent check where those does were, not where they are. So, in other words, during your hunt, you're in the stand, those does are all out in the food plot or on their way to the food plot. Them bucks, trying to be proficient, are going to scent check where they were first, and then if they show up in the food plot, you'll probably know, if you're in a pre-rut or close to the rut, you'll probably know if something's close because he's going to come out here and that's where you see him bumping does around. But if not, he just goes from one doe bedding to the next, to the next, to the next, and that's how they're proficient. It's how they carry a lot of ground or cover a lot of ground. So this situation here, guys, is it's plateaued up here, and then after the food plot, it slowly goes down. So would I hunt this on a south wind cold day or a south wind day that actually had a 74 degrees like it is now, and then 50 or something like that, 50, 55 degrees before dark? No, because your thermals are going to pull. The colder that air is in that bottom, the harder your thermals are going to pull. But when it's a stagnant temperature, 74 right now, it's only supposed to be 70 degrees at dark. I'm up here above from where the blind is at that way, so the wind's coming from here, right, pushing it this way. So if my thermals are going to sink at all, they're going to be that way because the wind is going, at that point, the wind is going to keep it at bay. So the perfect hunt for this buck, 5.5-year-old buck, like I said. And the reason that he can cruise this secluded food plot on this wind, he's scent checking. He's able to scent check all the doe bedding from above it, right on the edge. I've actually got a mulch trail transition on the inside, so if he doesn't want to expose himself, he can stay in. He can also, then if he is on the inside of the wall here, this brush wall through here, right here in front of me, you can see I got mineral here, and then there's a hole that I poked in, and that hole is actually a hole in where they piled a bunch of brush years ago, and all that doe bedding's behind it. So there's probably does bedded right now within 50, 100, 200 yards of me, and my thermals aren't going to drop into them, right? So always remember, guys, you hear this, I got a video coming up on this that talks about this. I always get this question, and I've had it a couple times this week. So you always talk about does or being behind the does. Now you're, telling us to be in front of them. what you want to do is you want to put the goal is to put your mind with behind the does in the morning. If you can get in behind those does still in the PM, that's great, but not a lot of situations. If you go to get out, not a lot of situations in ridge country are friendly with letting you get back in because of where the does are bedded. So what I do is if I hunted that spot, which I wouldn't be hunting these two on the same day, not unless the wind switched, but so to hunt this I need a south wind, to hunt that I need a north wind. So what it does, guys, is it keeps that whole bedding area, right, make a long story short, keeps that whole bedding area untouched. I come in the back door from the other side. That buck, when I'm here, he can be here, scent checking this edge, beyond the transition, scent checking all that with those winds. It's not a hard pull, because if it was a hard pull and even with a south wind, that thermals are going to drop to the, so he'd be so far down in there scent checking the does, I would never know he was in the world. But with the wind, with the stagnant temperatures, higher temperatures, not a lot of thermal pull, still a thermal pull, but not a lot of thermal pull. Having the opportunity to be up here where the wind keeps it at bay, it puts him here, a chance for him to be here when I'm here. So remember, guys, if you ever hear anybody tell you that the wind will trump the wind will trump the thermals, it's a lie. It's a myth. Don't believe it. There's only a fraction of the time that that's true, like a night like tonight, where that's not a complete hard temp drop, where the temps aren't cool and it's not cooler in that bottom enough to pull that thermals. If that's not the case, 99% of the time, your thermals will always trump the wind. So let that one sink in, guys. And so what I'm doing, and it might be a time that I can only hunt this once or twice a year. I've hunted this twice in early season because I had a warm south wind, and I'm hunting it tonight because it's pre-rut and these fields have been full of does. This morning, last night, he showed up this morning, so I know he's close. So yeah, just put that one in, to help you kind of strategize. Just remember, if you can get behind those bedded does and the thermals and the winds are working for you, by all means, take advantage of that. But if you can't get in without blowing those does out, when he comes to scent check you, those does aren't there, or you make it, you get busted and the does blow at you or whatever, he's probably not coming there to scent check it anyway. So think of a way in a spot that you can hunt that same deer in another location and keep it untouched. And that's what I've got here. That's exactly why I got these half octagons built. So I can gun hunt and bow hunt out of them. And I don't know, will he show up, will he not? But this is one I wanted to bring you tonight, guys. So just remember, don't get caught into believing that wind is going to trump the thermals. It's not. 99.9% of the time, guys, 99% of the time, the thermals are always going to trump the wind. And if you remember that in your hunting strategies, it'll help you, keep you safe. Then you can look at them small, minor percentages like I've got now, that where the blind is at, where my access is at, how the doe bedding is, how to take advantage of another spot with a different wind, interior access. Then you can get tricky. But what happens is folks try to get tricky before they understand the thermals and the wind, and they get themselves in trouble, right? So I'll try to do my best to show you exactly where I'm at with this one here, guys. And while I'm sitting in the box blind here, maybe I'll try to do this editing and get this up and running here yet before dark. Just to give you kind of a Halloween hunt update. But moral of the story is this, guys. Be creative. If you like this one here, I'm in a spot where I'm actually catching does, filtering through, going from food to shot plot to food, or from either way. But I've also got does bedded correctly where he can scent check the downwind side of bedding, and the wind is good for me. So it's good for him, good for me, putting them here at the same time. Most of the times I see with guys are sitting on food sources is it's good, the wind is good for you, and it's not good for him. He has to expose himself out in this wide open food plot in order to scent check something. Maybe the habitat's not even correct. The habitat's 100 yards back in the woods. He's scent checking stuff that it's not even, you don't even know he's there, and that's not this case, right? I built this just for this situation. So he can be here when I'm here, and it's just that night. I'm hoping I can see the rain coming in here. I hope it doesn't get nasty and shut everything down. But we're here. We're tucked in now. we're gonna enjoy it. Happy Halloween, guys. We'll try to bring this one to you. Maybe we'll get some grip and grins here with a big old Halloween buck that we call Cheeks. Thanks, guys.